7-18 shooting. He continues to be an offensive force. Anthony Simons had a game where, as Brooke said, he was smiling, right? Looked like he was enjoying the game of basketball, which is good. Sometimes, sometimes it's rough, man. I think people forget, Brenden. Yeah, they're playing a child's game, but sometimes going to work is rough, and you just want to break. And just having that smile and enjoying it, it's important, and that's what he did. But I don't know if there was a bigger performance than the 0 points that Donovan Clingan scored. 0 points? Are you kidding me? That's a joke. Just kidding. The joke is the fact how good he was despite only scoring 0 points. Because so much emphasis is put on that specific spot of the box score. Oh, he only scored 0 points. There's no way he impacted the game. Yeah. He had 19 rebounds in this game. It was a Dennis Rodman performance, right? 19 rebounds, 0 points, but it impacted the game in every facet. He ended up that 19 rebound mark, the highest amount by any rookie in the NBA this year. You want to know who's in second place? Take a guess, Brenden. Without cheating, who's in second place for most rebounds by a rookie this year?
Most rebound, and we're it's not Donovan Clingan. It's not the answer.
No, it is Donovan Clingan.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, you're trying to trick me.
It is Donovan Clingan. Yeah, technically, he's tied. Okay. He's tied because Zach Edey has 12 as well.
Who's leading the way?
Who's leading the way?
No, that's not. Now I'm curious. You've peaked because I would have guessed Edey. I'm curious.
What do you mean? Who's leading the way?
I think you said they were tied for second.
Yeah, Donovan Clingan has the most rebounds by a rookie. And currently the second most rebounds by a rookie in a single game.
Yes,
that's how good he is. He confuses you. That's how good he is. Also, that number continues to be incredible. So Donovan Clingan, he gets 19 rebounds. He also had 3 blocked shots in this game. Now, here's a stat for you. Donovan Clingan now has recorded a block in 17 games this season. 17 straight games. The 4th longest block streak to start a career in NBA history. Look at some of the names he's next to, all right? First off, we're going through the top 6 here. Tied for 6th with 15 straight games, Tim Duncan and Bill Walton. So he's passed Bill Walton in the previous game that lost to Houston to set the all-time rookie record, or all-time rookie record and record for the Blazers. 16 straight games to start your career. Like, that's incredible, right? Gets another one in this game. You know who's next there at 16 that he passed? Michael Jordan. Yeah, he was known for his defense, right? And his offense, but he was known as being a defensive stud. Next on the list at 19 straight, Pau Gasol. Pretty good big man. Oh, yeah, and you want to know who are sitting there at 2 and 3? Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning.
Isn't Mourning 57, 58 games?
57 straight games to start his career.
Yeah,
Shaq went 23, but Alonzo Mourning, people forget. I think a lot of people remember, myself included. It's what I grew up in. You think of old Zoe there in Miami. Charlotte Zoe. Yeah, he had a moment in time there.
Well, and people forget, too, to that point, it was Alonzo Mourning that made the big contract first, and Shaquille O'Neal's like, oh, I got to get some more.
And Zoe was always a good defensive center. So Donovan Clingan, needless to say, is in some absolute elite territory all his own. Now, it's funny because ESPN has their rookie ratings right now. Right now, according to the NBA insiders, 83% of the first place votes right now are going to Jared McCain in Philadelphia. Because again, if you can score points, then you're the belle of the ball. People love you, right? Dalton Connect second, Zach Edey third, Stephen Castle, Jalen Wells at 4th, and then the list goes on. Sar's on there, Reed Shepherd, and no Donovan Clingan. And as Casey Holdall points out, Donovan Clingan is 3rd in the NBA in blocks while playing only 17 minutes a game. And he leads the leagues in blocks per 36 minutes, but doesn't get a single vote for Rookie of the Year mention. I think that might change if he continues to play like this. Unfortunately, he will not play tonight. He is dealing with a knee sprain he suffered in that game against Houston. My guess is he's just out for precautionary reasons because you don't want to ruin a good thing, Brenden, because he's been pretty darn good. Looking at the injury updates for tonight, Donovan Clingan is, like you said, out. Matisse Thybulle continues to stay out. Interestingly enough, Matisse Thybulle listed as out with a right ankle sprain. Remember, he was out with knee injury maintenance for a while, so a different injury for him. Bryce McGowan's on the two-way deal. He won't play. DeAndre Ayton is doubtful. Haven't heard an update there. Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, all questionable. As soon as we get the updated update for the day, we'll let you know. That was yesterday's late update. We should get one here right before tip, and we'll let you know as soon as we get it. We'll take a quick break here, though, on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, we'll head to the coach's corner. We'll hear what Coach Billups had to say following that impressive bounce-back victory against the Houston Rockets. We might also hear from Donovan Clingan. Also got a good little clip I found from DB Hooper on the Briefcase podcast with Casey Holdall. You got to listen to that one because DB Hooper, objectively awesome nickname. And it's also a nickname he can't have if he plays anywhere else, right? Like when he was in Boston, DB Hooper just didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. It's the perfect location nickname, though. And we'll talk about it when we return here on your Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. You can join the conversation. Go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. We'll be right there, and you can start the chat. You can also follow me on social media, both Twitter and Blue Sky at Chris J. Burkhardt. I really like Blue Sky right now because I don't follow like 2,000 people and have like no following, and the algorithm isn't ruined yet. And it's just I just follow. Should just go to create an account that like just follows the Trailblazers and like just get my sports tweets in. But no, you can follow me everywhere. I have some fun, continue the conversations everywhere we go. Because as a social media person, I needed another app on my phone. That's just how it is. Like I had Snapchat on my phone forever, despite the fact I never used it. And I'm like, just in case I might need it one day. And I hadn't used it in like 5 years. So I finally was like, yeah, I'm deleting it.
Yeah, Snapchat's still a daily use for me.
Yeah. Twitter, I can't get rid of. People are trying to tell me, oh, you got to get rid of it. You got to full on jump on the Blue Sky train. I'm like, you know how much time and effort I put into building my Twitter account?
That's what I'm saying,
I can't
dude.
walk away from that.
Give up on that?
I can't walk away from that. It's just
maybe we would like it, Chris, if they just brought it back to Twitter. You know,
yeah, I'm so dedicated to Twitter. I can't call it X.
I know. It's just always going to be Twitter to me. And I don't send a post. It's an X tweet.
Yes, it is kind of fun. But yeah, whatever social media app you got, go follow me. Or if I'm not on there, be like, hey, Burkhardt, you need to jump here, and then I'll tell you no, and then I'll probably end up doing it, falling into peer pressure. That's what I do. All right, let's hear from Coach Billups, though. Brenden, it's time now to head down to the Coach's Corner. As I like to say, Brenden, let's jump in the DeLorean, go back in time, hear what Coach Billups had to say following that impressive comeback victory over the Houston Rockets.
We had a lot to talk about, Coach. Fantastic win. The response from last night, how pleased are you right now?
This is just kind of who we are. We had a tough night last night, obviously. But, man, we talked about it this morning. Let it go. We just let it go and said, let's come out and just do what we do, be who we are. We got to do a better job of getting our main offensive players the ball and play through them. I thought we did an excellent job of that tonight after, actually focusing on that. And I thought it worked out. I mean, you look at Denny was incredible, man. He was incredible. We depended on him a lot in this game on both sides of the ball. We put the pressure on him to play Sengun, who was one of the toughest matchups in the league. We put the pressure on him to play him one-on-one. We're not helping, play him one-on-one. You got him. And to be honest with you, he's been begging for that opportunity to play guys like that one-on-one for a while now. So he was great. Donovan's line is exactly who he is. Just a winner. 19 rebounds, 3 blocks, didn't score in only 25 minutes. Amazing to see Ant, make some shots and kind of carry us down the stretch. Shaden was amazing. Jeremy obviously was Jeremy, So it was just a fun, well-rounded, together win.
You just spoke about Anthony and finishing with 25, that huge 3 down the stretch, and he was smiling tonight. He was enjoying himself. How good did that feel to see him just enjoying the game?
Yeah, it did. It's always feels good to play well, and we knew that we were going to be tested today, after coming here yesterday and kind of getting punched in the mouth. We wanted to kind of get our lick back, and we did a good job all game long. Defensively, I thought, we were just the most physical team. When you play teams like this, most of the times the aggressor wins the game, and last night they were. Tonight we made some adjustments and did a good job, and we were.
I interviewed him for the walk-off, and I said, I've been covering you since you started. I've never seen you like that, when almost swallow there towards the end. He said, I was just trying to be an instigator. I was like, I've never heard that before either, but you had to love it.
Well, I love it. I love it. I mean, they we had the little dust up down there up under the basket, and I love to see our guys respond that way. Ready to go wherever it was going to go, all ready to do it together. And then stay composed when we get back to the game, but let it also fuel you, to try to go get it done. I loved it.
You mentioned Denny and his great night tonight. There was this one sequence, you probably remember, where he had a steal, took a coast-to-coast, had a crazy finish, and then gets another steal while he's on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of his calling card to bring the energy and impact the game that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Denny's that type of player. He really is. I mean, he plays with that type of fire. He plays both ends of the floor. I'm just really happy and proud of Denny because he's starting to get more comfortable. We're starting to know each other, get to know each other more, and it's only gonna get better the more we get familiar.
How big of a relief was it to see Donovan be able to come back into the game?
Yeah, well, it worried me, but he's such a warrior, man. He's such a warrior, and I'm pretty sure he's sore, and I'm pretty sure he was sore to go back in, but he was dying to get back in there, so I put him back in there, and he did a good job even in those minutes. But I just felt like our small lineup, it gave us what we needed today.
I felt really positive when he came back, was on the bench, he started dancing and singing to the songs in the arena. I was like, okay, Dylan, it's fine.
He is funny, man. He's hilarious.
He is pretty funny and pretty hilarious. And again, he's not playing tonight, dealing with a little bit of a knee soreness after getting that injury against Houston. But yeah, Coach praised everyone there. Interestingly enough, he talked about that little dust up, and Brenden, you're going to appreciate this. But as a Duck fan, as a born and bred Duck, as a guy who went to the University of Oregon, gosh, I find my man Dylan Brooks starting to get very unlikable. Like, he's like that guy that you go play that always shows up at 24-hour fitness to play pickup hoops. If you breathe on him, he calls a foul. And if you say it's not a foul, he wants to fight. Like that is Dylan Brooks. And nobody likes that guy. Not even his teammates like that guy at 24-hour fitness, Brenden.
It's, he is a polarizing figure. That's the best way I can say it, right? Because if he's on your team, he's one of those guys you want on your team.
Well, he's good. He's
right?
He's a
it's
pest.
just if
He's
you
good
almost like a Draymond kind of.
Yes.
But if he doesn't play for your team, well, hey.
I'm just saying. He's getting annoying. All right, if you want to join the conversation, youtube.com, go join the chat where the dog catcher wants to see Dwap, Reith, and Jabari maybe get a little run if Ayton and Klingon are out. Very well could happen. It very well could happen. I wouldn't mind seeing Reith get a little run, extend the floor a little bit, maybe go a little bit smaller because Denny's been playing that 5, so you can run Jabari out there. But if Klingon's obviously not a go and Ayton is doubtful, you're going to have to go to the well a little bit. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them get in this game. Dog catcher also says Brooks is also a rough Duck for sure. I mean, I like Dylan Brooks because he's a Duck, so I'll root for him. The antics, though. You're spot on, though. If he played for the Blazers and did that, you'd cheer every single time because sometimes you like that is the type of player that you like when he's on your team and he's irritating every other team.
Well, that's what I said. And, this has kind of been just an observation that I've had for the Blazers for a little while, Chris. And maybe we'll get that guy back. But it's like I don't know if the Blazers have quite that guy. Like, I love this team. There's a lot of nice guys, right? Is there that guy who is the pest of the other team? Because, you look at some of the best teams, they have one.
Hey, pests are good to have, and I don't even mean pest negatively.
No, very
pest
positive.
During his prime, his prime was very short, but like Pat Bev was a pest.
Yes,
Matt Dellavedova was a pest. It's good to have. Pests on your team.
Even respectfully, they just saw I kind of look at Alex Caruso that way a little bit.
Oh, he's a pest for sure.
Same kind of thing. But Oklahoma City,
He'll get under your skin.
Yeah.
There's levels to it, though. He's not as annoying as Dylan Brooks. All right, I do want to talk about Delano Banton. So we're going to bring on Sean and Sandy, who apparently wants to spew hot takes. That's what he does. That's what these guys do. Sean, let the world know what you think about DB Hooper.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother. I think DB Hooper is one of these guys that'll probably end up in China. I don't know any championship guys that go, 0 for 15 beyond the arc. I don't know any championship guys that go 0 for 6 beyond the arc. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, right? And it's like, I look at like a Klinger. Klinger's like this guy from like a comedy show that he's really good, but, I don't know if he's going to be like a starter. He's going to be like a backup on a championship team. You know what I mean? Nobody goes 0 for 19 and wins the championship. You look at all those guys that did that, Marcus Camby, any of those guys? None of those guys were all-stars. None of those guys were like championship guys did. And none of these guys the Blazers got are worth keeping. I look at all these guys, I go, hey, you're champion or not a champion? I look at these guys, dude, they're like second-rate tier teams, dude. They're Blazers like a third-tier team right now. The despicable Blazer team we've ever seen in our lives. The Blazers are the most despicable team we've ever seen in our whole lives, dude. And we ain't going to see anything until they get a new ownership. When we get new ownership, things will start changing.
All right, well, we'll see about that. I thought you were going to bring something of like actual merit to the conversation. I thought you were going to give me something to chew on. I don't even know what you just said. You spoke in circles. Like Donovan Clingan, you don't think he's a starting center? He's been pretty damn good as a starting center right now.
He's also what, 20
in his
years
rookie year, guys who went over. Dennis Rodman helped the Pistons and the Bulls win plenty of games without scoring a single point and going over from the floor by grabbing 5,000 rebounds a night. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. It happens. You can sit there and talk about Delano Banton. You don't think championship guys go 0 from 6 for beyond the arc. You ever watch Draymond Green shoot a basketball? Because that guy, there are moments where that guy can't hit the broadside of a barn. He could throw a ball into the ocean from the beach and miss, right? So
that old saying, Chris, you couldn't throw it in the ocean, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, yeah.
Come on, we lived through Al Farouk Aminu not being able to hit anything too. It happens. Now, nobody is out here thinking that Delano Banton is the missing piece to a championship team. Nobody has said that. In fact, I've been vocal on this show that I think he's a bench guy. He's not a starter. Would you start him over Scoot? Would you start him over Ant? No. You found a role for him. You play it. But you play like this, man. You get people excited. He brings energy. He's a fun guy to have. The Blazers, the times are bad, but this team's young. You don't like any of these players. Like, you look at this roster and you don't like Donovan Clingan. You don't like Tamani Kamara. Let me tell you what. There are plenty of playoff teams who have probably already called Joe Cronin wanting Tamani Kamara because he's pretty darn good. He is already elite, one of the best in the league on-ball defenders, and you can ask people around the league about that, not just your rose-colored glasses, right? Shaedon Sharpe is rounding into a star offensively and is only going to continue to get better. There are players on here that you want. Absolutely. Players on here that you want. I don't trust this next caller. You're giving me Sean in Damascus after giving me Sean in Sandy. It's just the same Sean from a different phone number. Hey, Sean in Damascus, welcome into Game Day. What you got for me, bud?
Hey, I'll try to give some redemption for that last call.
You come on. You got to save your name here.
I heard that and I'm like, oh, come on, man. What's this guy watching?
Okay, thank you. So at least you make me feel like I'm not completely off base here.
No, you're totally on base. Delano Banton's a great guy to come off the bench and can fill all sorts of roles. And I'm telling you, those 3 games against Minnesota and the Atlanta one, I'm watching that going, I've seen a lot of basketball, and for a long time there, I was just like, I'm not watching the Blazers, and nothing against Dame, but, I couldn't take that anymore. Another year of the bombs away 3. These guys are playing together for each other. That was some of the best basketball I've actually seen ever played. When guys are communicating, Robert Williams has come in and helping these guys. He's like a big papa in there with these little.
That's a good way of putting it, the big papa.
Yeah, and he's helping out Klingon. I mean, what the heck? 19 rebounds and what was it? 25 minutes? That's insane.
25 minutes. Yeah. You're right.
Gobbling up. Yeah, and that one game he had 8 blocks. It was like every time a guy was going up, I was like, he's going to get this one too. And he was just swatting away everything. It was incredible. He comes from a winning program. I don't know how anybody can say anything like these guys are garbage or anything. Tamani Kamara, talk about a pest. That guy's a pest. He's in your short. He was in Trey Young, man, was having trouble just getting up the court against him. But that guy, like Chauncey said, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA right now. And he's so young. He's only going to get better. All these guys are going to get better. Denny Avdia, great player. The guy's like, as soon as he gets a rebound, he's gone. He's flying down the court. So I don't know what that guy was talking about, if happy hour started early or something. But
hey,
I can tell you, man, you're right on base. I'm on base. I know what I'm seeing. I've seen enough basketball over the years, as Chad knows, to know when something's moving the right direction. And I think Chauncey's done a heck of a job, because I've seen a lot of these guys improve, just in the last year even, and I thought Jabari Walker was going to get more time, and he can't even get on the court,
Yeah.
And,
no, absolutely. And I agree here, Sean. And I gotta end the call there, though, because we're up against the clock. Got to take a break here. I very much appreciate it. But I want to point out, because you're talking about Donovan Clingan for a second, 19 rebounds, 8 block shots. And you go back to the other Sean's point about, you never win championships with guys who aren't making buckets. Yeah, who Chauncey Billups' Detroit Pistons won a championship with, center? Ben Wallace, who averaged like 8 points per game, but also averaged 16 rebounds and about 4 block shots. He averaged 5.7 points for his entire career. The dude was not a scorer, but he impacted the game on the defensive side of the ball and cleaned the glass, and you need those guys too. Also, sometimes you can look at a young guy and not think they're the piece, and you can be absolutely wrong, because all you got to do is go back about a decade to San Francisco, where everybody thought the Warriors were insane for hitching the wagon to Steph Curry and trading Monte Ellis. That one worked out pretty well for the Warriors. All right, got to take a quick break here. When we come back, it's time for our Coors Cold Hard Facts here on Blazers Game Day, brought to you by Coors Light on your home, the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day, where it is now time for your Coors Cold Hard Facts. All right, I want to go back to those callers for a second for a fact, and the fact is, as Sean said, the first Sean, Klingon is not a championship center. I'll agree with that. He's not right now because he is a rookie who is learning his footing and is showing everything that he might be in the long run. Very well might be a very, very good steal in this draft. If he continues to play like this, he's very much going to get in the Rookie of the Year conversation. But I think you look at teams who are in the championship run, and they might not be putting them in their starting lineup just yet. But it's year one, Brenden, as you said. This guy, he's a youngin. You get Damian Lillard in here, but yeah, Damian Lillard came in after 4 years at Weber and all that experience. Donovan Klingon, he can't even drink yet, right? Like if they won a championship tomorrow, he can't have a champagne shower. Okay.
Well,
so
he still might, but that's a conversation for a different day.
But give the man a break. And I want to point out again, I pointed out earlier that like the Pistons won with Ben Wallace, who was not a scorer, but he was a rebounding machine and a block shot machine, despite the fact that he was small for a center height wise. But you look at his second year, because his second year in the league, we can compare that to Donovan Klingon a little bit because he only played 17 minutes per game and played in 67 games. Brenden, he averaged 3.1 points, 4.8 rebounds, and a single block shot. Ben Wallace, right? And what did Washington end up doing? Because he was with Washington. They ended up trading him, right? And then he ended up going to Orlando for a minute, then found his way to Detroit. And in Detroit, he was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. In the year that they won the championship in 2004, he played in 81 games. He averaged just 9.5 points, but he averaged 13 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 block shots. I mean, come on. The guy was phenomenal and was a key reason they were able to win a championship. But Washington gave up on him. So you can't give up on Donovan Klingon because he doesn't look like a championship center right now. And also, I don't know what you're on, because 8 blocks in one game, 19 rebounds in another. He looks like a center who's going to impact games. And we've said this since the moment he was drafted. He's not going to fill up your box score with points. He might have a game here and there where he drops 20, but that's just not going to be his MO. So give him a break. Also, Shaedon Sharpe is another guy I want to look at, because you honestly look at this roster and don't see anything you like. Shaedon Sharpe is having a better year than last year. He's averaging 18 points per game. But if you take away the games where he played with a little bit of a minutes restriction as he was shaking off the rust, just his last 6 games, like in that last 6 games, he's averaging 23 points. Like he's turning into an offensive weapon. You watch that and say, that's not a guy that I like. I like Shaedon Sharpe. I like Donovan Klingon. There's a lot to like. You're going to continue to build your roster. Like Toumani Camara, he's everything you want in a small forward. He's going to play defense. He's going to hit threes when you need him to. You cannot tell me that if you called Milwaukee right now and offered up Toumani Camara that they're like, yeah, we're not interested. Golden State, yeah, we're not interested in that talent. Playoff teams,
probably not one team in the NBA who would say no to that.
Playoff teams want that type of talent right now, and you got it. So you can continue to build around it. There's plenty to like. I wouldn't get upset when they win and lose, because wins and losses happen, but there's plenty to like. And that's it for my cold hard facts. I'll tell you when the team's bad. I'm honest with you. You guys know that about me, but I can't look at this roster and say there's nothing likable about it. There's plenty to like. Plenty you want to see change, but there's still plenty to like. All right, we're going to take our final break here on Blazers Game Day. But when we return, I'm going to give you my keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get their revenge against the Memphis Grizzlies, who will be with Ja Morant this time around? Chris Burkhardt here, joined by Brenden Slaughter. Blazers Game Today, brought to you by Coors Light here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Fun fact when you go down the Google rabbit hole, Brendan, is that you find out that a person who makes or put hoops on a barrel or tubs, so think like a whiskey barrel, the hoops, the rings around them, the hoops, they were called a cooper. A nickname for them? A hooper. So either way you slice it, even you think DB is not a hooper, the Hooper Cooper name works in many different ways. Just to, like Macho Man said, you may not like it, but accept it. Okay?
Absolutely.
Just like you need to accept the fact that it is now time for our keys to the game. All right, it is now time for our keys to the game. And the key to this one, man, is come out swinging. Don't get punched in the mouth. Punch someone else in the mouth. And that needs to be Memphis. You need to punch him in the mouth. You need to get him swinging, man. It's just it is ridiculous what happened in Moda Center in that loss, 134-89 to the Grizzlies. When that game, they didn't have Ja Morant, they didn't have Desmond Bane, they didn't have Marcus Smart. Now, Ja Morant making his return after I believe it was a hip injury he had. He'll be making his return tonight. But you look at the game against Memphis just a few weeks ago, man, and the Blazers shot just 34% from the field. That was also the abysmal 4 of 42 game from beyond the arc. They were out-rebounded by the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies had 32 assists. Portland had just 18. Like, you look around, the Grizzlies had 13 blocks. Portland had just 3. There was no way about it. They just got beat in every facet of the game. So you got to come out, and you got to come out ready to fight in this one. I mean, this is Memphis. This is the home of wrestling, right? I've been there before where they, Jerry the King Lawler, and they bring out a table. They put the mascot through it. Like, you need to be ready to wrestle. You need to be ready to come off the top rope and drop an elbow on the Memphis Grizzlies, right? You need to give them some sweet chin music, a Stone Cold Stunner, a rock bottom, a tombstone pile driver, an F5, every single finisher under the sun. Like I said, off the top rope, Macho Man style, drop an elbow on the Grizzlies. And you know what? If they kick out before the 3 count, at least you tried. At least you tried. Because that game that you lost to Moda, it did not feel like you tried at all. You just got boat raced, and you can't afford to do that, man. So that's what I want to see from the Blazers, and that's key to a victory for sure, is just you can't come out. They only scored 17 points in the first quarter in that last loss against Memphis. And then the Grizzlies scored 31, 33, and 42 in the first 3 quarters. The only time they held them below 30 was in the fourth quarter, where they still outscored the Blazers 28-21. And that's just not a recipe for success. So you got to find a way to keep them reeling. They're going to want to get Ja involved, absolutely. But, man, you got to just come off the top rope, come out fast, man. You know, like Jorge Masvidal having like the 3-second knockout in UFC because he threw the knee to the face. That's what you need to do. Just come out ready to go. I don't know if you're going to get a victory, but you can't play much worse than you did last time. Do that, and I think you'll have some fun. All right, that's going to do it for Blazers Game Day. Coming up next, though, Chad Dewing has your Blazers pregame show on the Blazers Audio Network. Travis Demers will have your play-by-play call at 5 o'clock. And, of course, after the game, come right back here for the 5th quarter, where hopefully me and Brenden are talking to you about a Blazers victory. We'll talk to you after the game.